On the 4th day of Christmas, my pharaoh gave to me a girl who is super horny. Look, I'm not going to pretend I'm not aware of the effect I have on women. They take one look at the puzzle and they're like, ooh, I want to solve it, baby. Don't give me no solution either. I'm gonna put this together totally blind. Yeah, chicks dig a man who's wearing an ancient Egyptian 3D jigsaw, let me tell you. Welcome to yet another sexy entry in the wiki wild Wikipedia entry that is my list of kills. We're gonna go a little more on the metaphorical side of things today, as sometimes death is something you feel in your heart, and not exclusively as a result of losing a game of Death Jenga. That's a game I conceived that never made the manga. I think it would be really fun to play with Kaiba, though he would probably sue me for ripping off the name Death Tea. I got some tea for him right here. And speaking of tea, that's who we're talking about today. T. Gardner, that is. One day Yugi comes to me out of the blue and tells me he wants to play matchmaker, which I assumed was his way of telling me he likes playing with matches. So I encouraged him, as I figured it was a good way to craft a low-budget penalty game or two. People gonna get burned one way or the other, but no, it turns out he was setting me up on something called a date with one of the several members of his platonic polycule, namely Taya. When I first realized that I was being forced to instigate a romantic encounter, I was like, Yugi, you piece of shit, you motherfucking why the do this to me, you bastard man, fucking shit. But fortunately nobody noticed, and I played it off perfectly like water off a sexy duck's back. Yes, I said a sexy duck's back. You know, like that one goth chick off of DuckTales. Her back. So we went to a local diner, and I realized, having lived in the desert for so long, I don't know how to break the ice. Unless the ice is crafted into an exploding hockey puck, of course. See, I no longer had any of my memories, so instead of making small talk, I was forced to reflect upon just how damn good I am at games. Taya was like, what you thinking about? And I wanted to be like, oh, nothing, just the last time I was in this situation, I burned a guy to death to save your life. But instead I said, you know, pharaoh stuff, you wouldn't understand. It was at this point in the date that I not only killed the vibe, but I also gratuitously murdered a milkshake and sent it to prison. That's where all the dead milkshakes go. They don't go to heaven, they go to the clink for thick drinks. Man, I hate milkshakes. I'm gonna kill all of them. Anyway, yes, I left that date deader than Pegasus in the manga. Later, of course, we'd go out and play some arcade games, which was fun. Although I admit I misunderstood that the machines needing quarters did not suggest that the losers would be hung, drawn, and quartered, as they were back in my day. And then we met Johnny Steps. Although if you want to hear about him, you can listen to my list of opponents that sucked so bad I didn't finish dueling them, which I think contains exactly one person, and it is the aforementioned Mr. Steps. I hope you're snuggling with your boo this holiday season, and if you can't find any milkshakes to murder together, by all means, challenge one another to a spicy shadow game or two. Sometimes the risk of death leads to some sordid rewards. And whether you're in the shadow realm or the cold, heartless void that is reality, try to have a happy holiday season. Or else.